So I think in many ways, President Trump and Mr. Kennedy have asked some of the right questions. Problem is their answers will only make a bad situation worse. So let me ask Mr. Kennedy again. If we want to make America healthy, will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to every single American?
Bernie never saw this takedown coming, and honestly, neither did anyone watching that hearing. You could almost see it in his eyes. That moment Senator Bernie Sanders realized the old moral high ground routine wasn't gonna save him this time, because Bobby Kennedy Jr., calm as ever, hit him with a single line that left the entire chamber stunned. Almost all the members of this panel, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry. Boom, one sentence, and the entire act came crashing down. Before we get into how that unfolded quick thing, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're diving deep into the wildest political showdowns, the kind that peel back the layers and show you who's really pulling the strings. So if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let's jump right into it. Now, here's the setup. During Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s confirmation hearing, which by the way, was supposed to be a serious discussion about healthcare policy, Bernie decided to turn it into one of his classic outrage performances.
Prescription drugs. We're going to make America healthy. I agree with you that we need a revolution in the nature of food in America, physical exercise, etc. Very, very important. But there are people who are going to get sick, and they have to go to the doctor and find out why. 1 out of 4 Americans today cannot afford the prescription drugs their doctors prescribe because we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. We made some progress under the Biden administration of negotiating prescription drug prices with pharma. First time that's ever happened. Now, yesterday you told me that the White House was going to issue something affirming their support for continuing those Medicare negotiations. Turned out not to be quite accurate. They came up with some bland statement, could have been written by pharma.
Bernie was referring to came out of the Inflation Reduction Act, and sure, it did technically create a framework for Medicare to negotiate drug prices, but let's be real, it was more about optics than impact. It was symbolic, and what Trump's administration did after taking that same idea, that's where the real negotiating started. But Bernie wasn't about to give any credit where it might make him look less like the people's hero, so in true Bernie fashion, he tried to trap Kennedy in a gotcha question. He leaned forward and demanded, "Do you believe and will you insist that Medicare continue to negotiate prices with the pharmaceutical industry?"
Very specific questions. Do you believe and will you insist that Medicare continue to negotiate prices with the pharmaceutical industry so we can substantially lower prescription drug costs in America?
President Trump has made it very clear to me that he wants to negotiate prices.
Negotiate is a big word, Bobby. It's a big word.
It's the word you just used, Senator.
Yeah, but no, I use defend a particular law. Will you defend the law in the Inflation Reduction Act, which already is negotiating prescription drug prices?
President Trump wants us to negotiate drug prices. He wants to lower drug prices.
So you're not telling me that you will defend the law that we passed, which has already had significant success.
Well, Congress, look, I'm going to comply with the law, Senator. Congress passed the law. I'm swearing an oath to the Constitution. I'm going to comply with the laws.
You're going to have a significant influence on healthcare policy if you are.
And I'm going to comply with the laws.
Performance art, live from Capitol Hill. Now, let's talk about what Trump's team actually did, because this is where the mainstream coverage tends to fall silent. When Trump returned to office, he took that same Medicare framework and supercharged it. Through an executive order, his administration set up a most favored nation pricing model, meaning the US wouldn't pay more for drugs than the lowest price paid in other developed countries. On top of that, he threatened regulatory action and tariffs against pharmaceutical companies that refused to play ball. And here's the thing, it worked. We've already seen major drug manufacturers cut deals that will dramatically lower the prices of common medications. One diabetes drug dropped from over $500 a month to just $55. Another for hepatitis C went from $25,000 $1,000 to about $2,400. That's not symbolism, that's savings you can actually feel. And get this, even Mark Cuban, a guy who's been one of Trump's loudest critics, saw the value in it and is now partnering with the administration to expand access through his cost-plus drug model. When someone like Mark Cuban teams up with Trump on anything, you know the policy has real-world traction. But while all this was happening, Bernie kept hammering Kennedy about defending Biden's law, as if that was the hill to die on. You'd think he'd be thrilled Americans are finally seeing prices drop, but no. He was too busy defending a political talking point, and then came the knockout moment. Kennedy, clearly done with the theatrics, hit back with that line that stopped Bernie in his tracks. Almost all the members of this panel, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
So I think in many ways, President Trump and Mr. Kennedy have asked some of the right questions. Problem is their answers will only make a bad situation worse. So let me ask Mr. Kennedy again. If we want to make America healthy, will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to every single American?
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
But the data doesn't lie. According to Open Secrets, Bernie Sanders ranks 12th all-time in donations from the pharmaceutical industry since 1990. 12th out of hundreds of lawmakers. Now sure, some of that money probably did come from rank-and-file employees, but it stretches belief to think that not a single executive or corporate PAC found a way to funnel support into those numbers. And this is where Kennedy's jab really landed, because it wasn't just about Bernie, it was about the culture of Congress as a whole. Now, here's where it gets even funnier, or tragic, depending on how you look at it. After Kennedy's statement, Bernie tried to reassert himself, saying, "In 2020, I was the single largest receiver of pharmaceutical money from workers, not corporate PACs. Workers."
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate PACs.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered, last question. You have not answered my question.
Mr. Chairman, we're 3 minutes.
Ask you a question.
How do we make America healthy if you don't guarantee health care?
We're literally 3 minutes over here now.
Well,
how long does it keep going? At some time, you're just battering the witness, Bernie.
Not battering the witness.
Yes, you are. And you're getting upset at him. You're going at him just like anybody else would.
We'll come to order. Bernie's going over.
It's not even about whether Bernie's policies have merit, it's about honesty. You can't claim to be the voice of the people while quietly benefiting from the same machine you claim to fight. It's like lecturing about climate change while flying private to every rally. At some point, the hypocrisy becomes too obvious to ignore. And the moment Bobby Kennedy Jr. called it out, Bernie didn't have a factual rebuttal. He had emotion, he had volume, but he didn't have a defense. This whole exchange is a perfect microcosm of what's wrong with Washington right now. Too many politicians think shouting equals strength. They think moral outrage replaces logic. But when someone calmly points out the contradiction, the whole thing falls apart. That's why moments like this matter. It wasn't about who won a hearing or who scored the better clip for social media. It was about exposing how detached these so-called leaders have become from the people they claim to represent. Bernie tried to turn the hearing into a viral moment, and he did. Just not in the way he intended, because now the clip of Bobby calling him out has been shared millions of times, and people are starting to ask the right questions. Questions like, if even Bernie's taking pharma money, who isn't? And it's a fair question. Look, you don't have to agree with Trump or Kennedy on everything, or even anything, to see what's happening here. The truth is, the establishment protects itself. It doesn't matter which party they wear on their lapel. Democrats, Republicans. It's a club, and most of us aren't in it. Bernie's meltdown showed us that even the loudest voices against corruption can get a little uncomfortable when the mirror's pointed back at them, and that's why this exchange hit so hard. It wasn't just a political argument, it was a rare moment of unscripted honesty in a place that runs on scripts. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Bernie's reaction was fair? Was Bobby Kennedy Jr. out of line for calling him out, or was he just saying what everyone's been thinking? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this one's gonna spark a real debate. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started and you better believe there are more showdowns like this coming. At the end of the day, the truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to be said once, clearly, and it echoes on its own.